What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Ladies and gentlemen, it is another Friday night live with the quarantine. Man, you know what it is. You know what it is. You know what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, you could have been anywhere in the world, but you here with us acting a fool just like I like to act a fool, man. You know how I do. I come in here every day, do my thing. I can't do this by myself, though. As you see, as always, I have the lovely Wjzz Osborne, and I have Henrietta Ivy with us. So, I ain't about to introduce them because they know what to do. So, bam!
Hello, everyone. My name is Wjzz Osborne, and I am your candidate for state representative for 2020. It is a privilege to have you joining us this evening. Just like Dre said, you could be anywhere else, but you're tuning in tonight, and we got a hot show for you. And I want to pass it over to Miss the amazing Henrietta.
Good evening, Detroit. My name is Henrietta Ivy. I am the advocate, activist, and for home care workers, and I am also business owner with IPS LLC in Detroit. Thank you again for joining us here, and I'm happy to be with my team again tonight. And so again, like Ross said, we got a hot show for you guys tonight.
Well,
Yes.
you know how we do, man. Every week I gotta start with my dramatic bush. But you know what? Today I'm kind of in a better mood. I was in a bad mood, but I'm in a better mood. I just want to send love and prayers out to my homeboy, my co-worker, a mentor, a father, an uncle, a best friend when I want one, a big brother whenever he's there,
Yes.
Art Vitamin. Whatever that infliction is, brother, you're going to get up out that hospital soon because there's a lot of things that we need to do together. There's a lot of things that I can't do without you. So I'll be seeing you in the streets real soon. Everybody, I just ask you to send up prayers for him, his body, and his family. And we gonna get through this because that man ain't finished. With that being said, man, we got some shenanigans going on in the city of Detroit. I can't really call it shenanigans, man. Y'all married, just got married and everything. Congratulations to you. Oh, yeah, no congratulations.
No, congratulations.
Okay, I didn't know what y'all want to say. Okay, with
Well,
your
we
married guy.
We're not going to do them.
Pow, we're going to shoot that right out the air.
I didn't know what y'all want to do.
Next.
You know how y'all do. Y'all be so nice and shit all the
No,
time.
not on that one, 'cause he lied to the wife, he lied to the city, and he still lying. Listen to
Who ain't lied to their wife? But anyway, we ain't gonna go there.
Next.
Yeah. But again, we have
We get it in tonight for real.
3 proposals on the ballot this year, and a couple of them I don't know how the hell they got there.
You and me both.
So well, we gonna get into that in a little bit. But you
Yeah.
got proposal R, proposal E, and proposal S.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, proposal S is amended to the city charter. Didn't we just go through? So, but this is Detroit. We know how it go down. We know that everybody don't play fair. We know that people be up to some bull, but it is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. What can you say? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even start the station right. This is the quarantine on Wjzz Cool TV, live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, and other top social media platforms. Like, follow, share, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching Wjzz Cool TV, the coolest station in the world.
Yes.
Now, like I was saying,
Back at it.
we have an election coming up, ladies and gentlemen, that we're in the middle of if you are absentee voter. I prefer that you vote absentee because get it the hell out the way.
Yeah.
There's no reason for you complaining that it's too cold or it's raining or it's too hot.
Right.
You don't even have to stand in the line.
Right.
You can mail from your house. You can pull up. You can roll up. Whatever it is that you like. And vote. The ballot really ain't that big. So you really gonna vote for maybe 2 or 3 minutes. Just do the damn thing and vote. Tonight we got mayoral candidate Anthony Adams in here with us tonight. But before we get to talking to anybody, we handle our important business first. So Wjzz, it's time for you. You know what to do.
Thank you, Dre. And we want to just give shout out to our Facebook watchers. We got that faithful Miss Brenda Thompson tuning in,
Hello,
y'all.
Miss
Thank
Brenda.
you for tuning in. And so I just want to go straight to it. Once again, my name is Wjzz Osborne, and I am your candidate for the next state representative for 9th House District. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is here. Our country has transferred over to a full mandated vaccination location. I have been excluded from 3 full-blown events. I just knew I was gonna go see Miss Stacey Abram. I just knew I was about to be in the room. Not if I am not vaccinated. So we just want to say that we know it's about saving lives.
Right.
But what we want to make sure is that this process is fair and balanced.
That's
so
right.
we had already identified that there's a third of our population that is hyperallergenic, right? We got individuals that we know that has taken the shot and actually has been hospitalized. And so what I think the next level should be is there should be cards for those that are allergic. Because if you can't get into locations, right, from not having the vaccinated card, you should be able to have a card that says, I cannot get vaccinated.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to wear my mask, right? Because
Right.
we already have identified masks do save lives.
Yep.
And I'm going to keep it real. As a one seeking state legislative, I do believe the mask should be mandated. That's a real thing. Because last year, we wore a mask. And our numbers came down. When you go to the doctor, they wear their mask.
Yep.
When people had colds and were hyperallergenic or allergic, they wore their mask.
They wore their mask.
So we realized the mask actually has proven itself for years already being effective.
Right.
But the reality is to not have a process to transfer over for those that are hyperallergenic is not fair and it's not a correct process. So I just wanted to highlight that for ladies and gentlemen. If you think it's fake, it is real. The world has shifted. And right now, if you're not vaccinated, there are rooms you will be excluded from. And on the next note, Trey so lovely touch base about this ballot and the election season that we currently have been held. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Today is October 1st.
Yes.
And the election
quick.
is, November 2nd. So we literally have 30 days to seal up and close up or to actually select the candidates that will represent our districts. Right?
I do not want to take away from your time, but there is something that has been burning on me since there was a debate a couple of days ago between Councilman Roy McAllister Jr. And the person he's running against. I bust my behind on behalf of District 2. And I understand that there was a comment made about the Millennial Roundtable. You don't want to go there with me. Just leave it alone. Don't even speak about the Millennial Roundtable again. Whoever you were that said whatever you said, because for you to say it's ineffective and we're not doing anything. Did we just speak about a pandemic we was just in?
Yes,
How much stuff been closed down for about a year?
Yes.
So somebody wanted to see us out in public doing this, that, and the other. Well, how? How are we gonna do this when everybody ain't comfortable with being vaccinated and this, that, and the
Absolutely.
other? So you expect us to have a super spreader to appease you? But that's all I'm gonna say on that, because I really want to go in, but it's not my battle.
I'm reeling him in.
It's not my battle. It's not my battle. But whatever candidate is out there, I don't care what you're running for. Don't lie and get caught in your lie.
Right.
Absolutely.
Because everybody ain't gonna take that so nicely.
Right.
I know I'm maturing because I really wanted to go off, but I'm not. Because God said, I got that. You worry about what you're supposed to be doing, and that's it. Anyway, I'm sorry. I didn't take me to take your time. But that was just something burning on me.
Yeah, see? He had to go there. And then I'm going to close it up because we have a special guest and we want to make sure that they get their time in and get ready to be able to have access. Because through our Facebook Live, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to be able to pose your questions. But once again, like he said, it is an election season.
Yes.
And it is very quiet. And what I just want to do a whole blown open and indictment and call out for the current representation. It's been neglectful. It has just been a travesty to have no one representing us at the high capacity to make sure we knew what was on this ballot. If you had not been an absentee ballot holder, you would not have known what was on the ballot.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Because a lot of people don't know how to go online and look for
Right.
that.
Man,
link
I ain't about to
state.
keep making that no excuse
See,
for people.
But wait a minute. But the real thing is, because we know we are in a city that is digitally challenged. Just keep that real. That's the real thing. That's the real thing. No,
we
we
can
talking
be
about
digitally challenged all day long, but
And
everybody know what Facebook and online
no,
and
but
computers
but
are.
that's
don't
what
have
we're
access
saying.
to it either.
There we go. And everybody didn't see that ballot. That's real. Because
Right,
when
because I
we
didn't
did
even
see
see
it,
it.
there we go. We was all surprised, and that's
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say. If you were a voter that said, "I don't take your absentee ballot," I walk in. Because it reminds me of when I was with my parent, or
Right.
like our seniors remind them walking to the ballot back in the day,
Yeah.
those that marched and so forth.
Yeah.
But to walk into the ballot box and to see that ballot that
Yeah.
you was like R, E, and S. What's E? And if you ain't have a phone to Google what E was, and I'm an environmentalist.
Right. Enlighten people what these proposals are.
That's look.
I
wait a
just
minute.
want to know where the mushrooms came from.
Wait a minute.
Right.
She say, listen, like, we're going to go into it, but I don't want to take any time to our candidate. 'Cause
Okay.
I thought we were rolling into our time.
I thought we were too.
Yeah. All right. So, we're going to introduce our candidate.
When he
our,
gets in.
Yes, our mayor.
Well, how many of
Oral
y'all
candidate,
eat mushrooms?
Anthony
Adams
Adams.
is
There we
here.
go. There we go. We was trying to holler it like
I really got a question though.
Yeah.
How many of y'all? Not for you.
Oh, okay.
I know you do.
I
hope
come
you
in
know.
ready.
Yes. Good to see you.
I just want to know how many people eat mushrooms. How did that get on the ballot?
No, they not eat them. I think they're talking about psychedelics.
Psychedelic.
Yes,
Yeah.
but they're hallucinogenics.
Yeah. It's
And so I was in a room last night with Councilman Tate,
yeah.
and he said, "So I'm gonna need you to raise your hands. Who's in the hallucinogenics?" And everybody was like, "No."
Right.
So what we were trying to say is, how did they get on the ballot?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
coming in the
Don't
room,
point mine out.
look, coming in the
I don't
room
like
as a mayoral
mushrooms.
candidate,
Right.
I think that would be a great question to kind of pose. That
Certainly.
as we have elections coming on,
Right.
how does it seem that the residents wouldn't know what would be on their ballot?
Well, you know, first of all, thank you for having me on my show. It's really very exciting
Yes,
to
thank
be
you for
here
coming.
to share my platform and my
Yes.
vision for the city.
and then it's the camera too, so you
Great.
can also see.
All
too.
right.
Yeah.
All right. I'm just admiring the beauty in the room.
Thank you.
President company excluded, of course.
Thank you.
So what happened is, in the city of Detroit, citizens have the right to petition and put things on the ballot.
Okay.
And so there was an initiative filed by a group of citizens. I don't really know who's behind it.
There we
Let
go,
me say
okay.
that, which is
Mhm.
something what we probably should know. Who's putting these things on the ballot? They collected the requisite number of signatures. They submitted it to the Election Commission, Detroit Election Commission, and the matter was placed on the ballot. So really have three issues on the ballot this year. One is the issue with respect to formation of a committee for reparations to study the issue.
Yeah.
The
That's
second,
proposal R, right?
Yeah.
the second is a proposal which allows for citizens to essentially appropriate money in the event that a reparations issue is decided in favor of the people. Meaning, if the people decide they want reparations, how is it going to be funded?
Right.
Because in a normal situation, citizens can't necessarily dictate or tell government how to actually spend their money. It sounds kind of weird since we have a representative form of government, and so the council working through the mayor's office decide how the budget is fixed. And obviously, the third issue obviously are the mushrooms, the mushroom issue, which there's been very little press. I think absolutely no press on that issue. People don't really understand what it is, and so it's up to us now to kind of sort out why is this on the ballot. Is it really necessary? Is it really needed? Now we have casino gaming, we have legalized marijuana. We have an overabundance of liquor stores in our community. We have an overabundance of strip clubs in our community. So we have a lot of uses that are not, I say, necessarily in the best interest, but they're legal. And so we've just got to sort out how we regulate that in a framework which allows for people. I think we need a lot more education on all of these issues.
I just want y'all.
I love that ring, by the way.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Is
You
that,
know, you can-
is that
you
a
in the
Super
frat?
Bowl ring?
No, it's a frat ring.
Okay.
You in the frat?
No, I didn't. Never. I couldn't afford it.
I'm gonna get you with me
Okay.
then. But I just want my Facebook people to. Who the hell is eating mushrooms? But anyway.
Regular mushrooms are good.
Good for
They
us.
sauteed
I'm a mushroom.
But I ain't
Right.
talking about
vegetables.
them. I'm talking
Yeah.
about
Portobello.
There we go.
somebody went out their way
Right.
to make. I ain't gonna
oyster mushrooms, all that good stuff.
We got an interview to do tonight. I ain't gonna worry about the mushrooms.
But we
Alright.
do want to separate that for those that may not know the difference, right? There are those that are, like we say, psychedelic, that makes you hallucinate.
Right.
This is what we don't want because
Right.
I had a friend in California, and she said 10 years ago, I think it was like Sherm or something, which is a mushroom,
Yes.
took over a whole community.
Right.
I can believe it.
Right?
Right.
So this is why, just my opinion, we don't need that.
But these are mushrooms that administered in small amounts that are supposed to be therapeutic. In some instances, people who take a small amount of certain types of mushrooms, the one that's on the ballot, they say they do get some psychological benefit from helping them deal with their issues. I mean,
Okay.
it's a part of a holistic medicine
All
approach
right.
to
It's
how we
that
do
George
things.
Clooney
Yeah,
This how he
Yeah.
was making all them.
right.
Okay, anyway, we got it. I'm gonna
But
let
thank you
start.
for breaking that down.
Yes,
because
definitely.
as like I said, environmentalist, I know, like we saying, that they're
naturalists.
different. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And then there's definitely a difference in medicinal properties with certain things. But as you had uplifted,
Yes.
we have a list of extra indemnities that are not beneficial to our community.
Right.
Right. And so I would actually just pivot that question towards now. How do you
Yes.
think, as a mayor candidate, that what we need or what you hear our residents need to be able to uplift our city or better
Well,
implementations?
I think part of what we need to get people healthy in the city of Detroit. I mean, healthy on a lot of different levels. We need psychological health. When we look at the levels of gun violence that are endemic into our community, we clearly have an issue with respect to how we cope and deal with stress.
Yeah.
We have physical health issues that we need to address. The levels of diabetes, heart disease, high cholesterol, all these things are impacting our life cycle, which is why we have a low life cycle for people that actually live in the city of Detroit. I think there's a 10-year differential between people who live in the city of Detroit and people who live outside the city of Detroit. So that's an issue we have to address. We also have physical issues with respect to people getting physically healthy in the city of Detroit. How do we go about making sure that people have the right exercise, have the right diet, have access to fresh fruits and vegetables, have access to water? All these things are important as we talk about expanding the footprint of how we make people healthy. And then we have the issue of legal uses that are, I think there's some level of over-proliferation, if you will. And with the whole the marijuana space now, with the big battle over licensing of recreational facilities, we already have medicinal facilities.
Yes.
Right.
How do we go about putting it in a framework which allows us not to have widespread location of these facilities throughout the community? Maybe perhaps the city needs to select a site similar to what they did in The Wire in Amsterdam, where you have a dedicated area for this time. I mean, I just have to throw it out there because when you see it in The Wire, I'm a big Wire fan. Let me just say
That's
that.
why I just said that. You just threw me off with that one. I wasn't expecting that to
I mean,
come out.
come on now. We talking about how we expand our vision of how we have our city to look.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
What
right.
types of things do we really need to see? What do our children need to see every day as they walk to school?
Right.
And I'm not a prude by any stretch of the imagination, but I think when you talk about the responsibility of leading our community, of showing us a framework for how we can get ourselves healthy, how we get our minds right, we need to have a conversation about these things. And that's what differentiates me from my opponent, is I'm prepared to discuss the issues and talk with people and figure out the best way to get there. I don't have all the answers, but I certainly have a lot of questions, and I have a lot of knowledge and experience. I think we can bring about good solutions that keep our community from being overrun with things that simply are not in our best interest.
You just said something about health, and I'm a big proponent of mental health. How does or how would you work with the city, the state, and the county to bring an actual mental health facility to the city of Detroit?
So what? Obviously, and we all understand the history of the English reign of government
Yes.
closing
Yes.
Lafayette Clinic and really stripping away. So now we have more people who have mental issues in our correctional facilities than we need to have,
Yeah.
and it's costing us a lot more money
Yes, sir.
because those facilities are expensive to operate. We have an entity known as the Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network, which has an $800 million budget, probably one of the largest agency
You
budgets
said
in
they
the
have what now?
$800 million budget that they get from the state and the federal government to administer mental health programs throughout Wayne County, and in particular the city of Detroit. Their board is comprised of half appointees from the mayor's office, half appointees from the Wayne County exec. So where is the level of accountability with respect to how those funds are being used, and how do we create a pathway so that we can have the types of facilities that we need? How do we use, for example, our hospital systems and bring them in, since they have beds that should be dedicated for this? Why are we not entering into a cooperative arrangements or relationships so that people who have mental health issues, and then we also have to address I would say the stigma that black folks have with respect to mental health treatment in our community. It has always been an anathema for, if you have mental health issues, that people want to hide it and keep it quiet. The reality is that we got to blow the lid off that. We got to peel back that onion skin, because we need to talk about it, because people are under tremendous stress.
Yes.
When you're in a perpetual payment plan for your water, perpetual payment plan for your tax bill, you got a perpetual payment plan with DTE, you're paying more than 50% of your income for rent in the city of Detroit, you're under a lot of stress.
Yes.
And that stress, children feel it, they act it out. And so we've got to understand, we've got to have a holistic system where people bring people to the table. And I'm not talking about studying something for 5 months. This is 911 time for the professionals and for the leaders to sit down and say, these are the types of things that we want. How do we expand mental health facilities in our schools? The first line of resistance, because the children come in and have issues, they act out. We see it in the old days, it was called behavioral issues,
Right.
but oftentimes it might be mental health issues that we have to address. How do we identify those problems and then get our children into treatment? For our middle schoolers, it's the same process. We need to identify the problems and put the programming in place so that people can become healthy in our community. I believe that if we do that, we'll put ourselves in a much better position to reduce incidents of gun violence and crime in our community, because we're catching the problem much earlier than waiting down the line.
Now, I just want to ask, he hit the key word, because I was going to pivot right there. What does holistic looks like to you? We started off talking about mushrooms, right?
Yeah, we getting there.
Said I'm a naturalist and herbalist, and I'm
that's
the
right.
13th Congressional Michigan Democratic Party environmentalist.
Right.
And so, but at that same point, when you expound on that, and like Dre stated, that there's different systems that we
Yes.
know that they're addressing our people, right?
Right.
And then also, even when we say the other, I'll just be clear, and use code words, but other abuse
Right.
and systems that people are on, right?
Right.
And a lot of people don't go to treatment
No.
because of what these structures and these systems look like. So
Right.
that's why I want you to expand. That's why I'm trying to draw it in when we say holistic
Right.
at different areas, because methadone clinics on Gratiot and 6 Mile, there's a
yeah.
line that's set every day
Every
morning, and
day,
been there
right.
25
For
years,
years,
right?
right.
So I just want to know, expound to us what that looks like a little
So
bit.
I think
from your eyes of views.
So I think we need to begin to kind of, we have a lot of different systems to treat different things, but we also, all these systems are interrelated because they deal with how we treat the individual. And so part of what I've been proposing is, I call it human capital management. We have to manage our resources and our people to put them in the best position to move forward with their life. Whether it means putting them in treatment programs which get them off of methadone, which is a narcotic, which continues. It's a different form of narcotic. It's not necessarily as destructive, but it does have destructive qualities. So how do we go about structuring our systems to create an opportunity for an individual to become fully healthy within their lives? How do we work together with the physical professionals, the health professionals, the drug treatment professionals, to come up with a plan of action for an individual that puts them on a pathway towards a healthy and fulfilled life? At the end of the day, if we're not talking about how we fulfill the lives of people who live in our community, then we're not moving the needle in the right direction. And when people look at it, well, what is it going to cost? We're already bearing the cost now. We're bearing the cost by having one of the largest correctional jails being built in Wayne County. We're bearing the cost by spending more than $350, $400 million a year in fighting crime in our community. These costs add up, and so I'm saying Why are we not redirecting our resources, providing a structure or program so that we have a person who's responsible for helping to coordinate the many different silo elements of a treatment program that need to be operated in a cohesive fashion so that we have outcome determinative, so we're not just spending money, but we're really actually trying to get some results.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I got to ask the question.
Yes,
You've been on the 11th and the 13th before.
yes.
What the hell made you want to come back? Especially now.
Well, and I ask myself that a lot, but I can always come up with a great answer, because the people need to have someone who can fight for them. That what we have in this situation now is we have a guy that runs by fiat and fear, and that he's compromised so many of our internal structures in our system, so that leaders who would normally speak out against the abuses of power that we straight up see. It's, I'm going to tell you how I'm going to spend your money. So I'm going to allocate $30 million for a home repair grants, and I'm deciding that you're going to put it on a roof. Hell, most of the people I see don't need a roof. They need painting, they need siding, they need a furnace, they need their front porch fixed. And so you got to have a mayor who understands that we got to be connected to the people and the results, because he is not a result-driven person with respect to the people who I'm talking to every day who have lost their homes as a result of tax foreclosure, who overpaying in their taxes, who don't feel like they have a right to be an entrepreneur in their own community. We have thousands of vacant commercial structures in this building. I said we need to have something like the Oklahoma land grab. If you identify a building, you got a program and want to be an entrepreneur, how is it going to hurt us from what we're doing now? Instead of maintaining thousands of inventories of vacant buildings, we have tremendous young entrepreneurs. I met so many of them this week. I had a millennial event. Very talented young people who really want to move our community forward, and yet they feel isolated. And so we got to stop the abuse, and we got to stop the pandering. We don't need somebody dictating to us every day. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this. I'm not going to do excuse me. Time out. You elected by the people of Detroit.
Right.
You know, so you need to be about the business of talking about real issues which impact us. Why is it that black contractors are at the bottom of the totem pole in the city?
That's right.
They want to make a big issue of the fact, oh, we giving $30 million worth of contract, but well, hell, you spent $6 billion over the last 8 years and we ain't seen shit.
There it is.
And I'm tired of people just telling me, man, you being wrong, you aggressive. I need to be aggressive. I need to let people know, hey, y'all being played here.
Yes.
And if you don't understand you being played, all I got to do is show you with the metrics. Loss of a black middle class in the city of Detroit down. 60,000 people moved out the city of Detroit. 150,000 people lost their homes as a result of tax foreclosure. 125,000 people got their water shut off. 160,000 people sitting at home doing nothing every day. And you telling me this is progress? Man, you're crazy. I debate. I'll go anywhere. There's no question off limits for me. Because I think if people want to know who I am, they need to put their questions on your Facebook page. Bring that stuff to the table. We don't have to whisper. We don't have to assume. Ask the question and you will get an answer.
Because I meant to bring in a copied colored Mike Duggan face to put on. Because I was going to debate you tonight. I know you're looking for the debate.
I bring it.
I feel Devin Skillian is working on that for us. My mama has all hope in him.
So,
she like, I'm waiting on him. So go ahead.
You kind of said it. What is making people, in your mind, vote for this man again?
I think there is.
Oh no, I'm not saying that I'm voting for or against. I'm just asking questions. I know how y'all people like to get on Facebook. Oh, he asked a question. He must be shut the hell up. That is not. Just be quiet. Go ahead.
So let's break down what has happened to black political leadership in Detroit. Because we gotta understand what happened, the history of the city of Detroit, and understand the context of how things have changed. And so when Coleman Young was elected in 1972. The population of the city of Detroit was around 1.3 million folk. White folks had left in droves from 68 through 73. They really accelerated their loss. They said Detroit is going to die. Well, black folks held on to that, and Coleman Young was the person who we believed in because he represented the strength of black power and leadership and black excellence. Because the man was brilliant.
Yes, he was.
And so all of the years they continued to attack Coleman Young, but they could never get Coleman Young because Coleman Young's relationship with the people was so tight that the people always gave Coleman, well, that's Coleman, he gonna do the right thing for us. People believed in him, and we had that connection, and they loved that. Then we get Dennis Archer. So the corporate acceptable Negro.
Right.
He panders to the business community. We have to be fair in our own community. Well, people kind of like, man, that's kind. And then you make the bad decision of not granting the casino license to the most qualified black man in America.
My life. I wanted that amusement park.
Right. and only to say that I'm not here to make another black man rich. That's crazy because in any other culture, we'd be trying to figure out how we can expand the base. Because black economic power is so essential to black political power.
Yes, sir.
When you lose your economic power, you use your political power. So then we have Kwame Kilpatrick, charismatic, brilliant, young guy, family. Everybody loved Kwame. And they got hurt because Kwame treated them like he hurt them. People were honestly crushed by his failure. And the crushing and the failure of Kwame created, I think, a real void in our community because people felt like they had been let down. And so then we have a series of, I call them accidental mayors. We get Ken Cockrell, not really equipped to do the job. They being brought in by the corporate community to prop up the city, only for them to pull the rug out from up under him. And so lo and behold, guess what happens? We get Mike Duggan. Mike Duggan.
We got Kevin Orr before we got
Mike
Duggan.
Right. Well, but he was that. But they were all part and parcel of the same scheme. You see, people want to forget the fact that Mike Duggan was involved in a lot of the manipulation behind the scenes of bringing Kevin North through his friend Rick Snyder, who he officiated his inaugural event after the people in the city of Flint had been poisoned. And so when you want to stand on the stage with me and talk about your policies, let's talk about your history, which is why he don't want to debate me.
That's it.
And so then you set this up where black leaders are constantly denigrated. Then you have the corruption investigations with city council and all the people that went to jail. And black folks saying, my God, we keep stealing all the damn money and my lights ain't on. The police don't come. We got to fix that. And so it becomes real convenient and easy for people to accept the inclusion of a person who was able to reinvent himself politically from what he was when he told the medical examiner to say that Malice Green died as a result of drug overdose versus getting his head beat in.
Thank you.
Or the corrupt regime of McNamara, who he sat at the wheel of. Or the DMC hospital, which he destroyed through he sold it.
I was one of the workers who got cardiac
or his existence on the EAA, which literally cut the guts out of DPS. But people want to forget that. They say, man, you too aggressive. I need to be aggressive. Y'all need to understand this man is not in your best interest.
Not at all.
And what he's doing is laying down this scheme. It's a Ponzi scheme. It's a shell game. It's a 3-card Molly. Proposal P. Oh, that's bad for you. It's going to make the city bankrupt. Oh, proposal win. We're going to demolish all the houses. We're going to give blacks contracts. It's all a scheme and a plan to manipulate the people, and the people have been manipulated. So now I run. They say, oh, you was with Kwame. Well, when Kwame get out, everybody happy. Kwame get married. Okay, that's all good and fine. But I'm not Kwame. You see, I was recruited by the black business community to go work for Kwame Kilpatrick. I had a great job at Detroit Board of Education, General Counsel, making good money, living a good life. Yes, I lived a good life because I worked damn hard
for it.
So people want to, you live in a nice house. Well, I want you to live in a nice house. You live in, I want you to live in a nice neighborhood. But I didn't just, they just gave it to me. I had to work for it. So now all of a sudden you get a highly competent black guy who served in this community for years with distinction, has never been implicated in any scandal of anything whatsoever, and all of a sudden you're telling me I'm not qualified to run the city of Detroit? I categorically reject that, and I tell people, Get on stage and let's debate and let's talk about
That's it.
because there's not one aspect of life in the city, tax policy, water policy, transportation policy, social policy, policing, I can't talk about because I've been in all those things.
I know we had a question from Tracy Blockett. She said, what's going to happen with the water system in the city to prevent backups in people's basements?
So let me tell you what the problem is on one level. The problem on one level is that their maintenance protocols are horrible.
That's it.
As a former interim director of the Detroit Water and Sewer Department, we've seen flooding in areas where it never flooded. And we've seen flooding in areas that are so high above the area where it should be. And the reason this is occurring is because they are not doing periodic cleaning of catch basins,
That's it.
nor are they running cameras through this defined block sewer lines in the city.
Yep.
And so before we spend billions of dollars to try to rebuild the system, let's figure out what shit's broke.
Right.
Let's figure out what the connections are broke,
Yeah.
fix the broke connections and then maintain it. And then there's some other things we could do with respect to moving towards a green technology infrastructure. Why are we not using our parks as stormwater runoff facilities?
Right.
Why are we not giving people credits for building rainforests, rain gardens on their property? Why are we not taking a lot of this water and allowing it to be recirculated and recycled so that we can put it to productive uses? Why are we not giving businesses credits to build stormwater detention facilities on their own property to hold water during wet storm events? And then there's some things that they need to do upstream in terms of Oakland and Macomb County. They don't need to be dumping all this shit in Detroit when it rains. They need to be holding that stuff upstream until it's a dry event, because the weird thing about a sewer system is that when there's too much rain, you get too much water. When it doesn't rain, you don't get enough water. And so the idea behind stormwater retention basins is that you hold water, and then when it's a dry day like today, you let all that stuff flow. It keeps the system flowing and moving. So there's some real creative things we could do internally in the city of Detroit, but there are also some political things that we need to do upstream to make sure that Oakland and Macomb are doing what they're supposed to do to stop the flow into the city of Detroit.
Right.
Yes.
I'm going to ask one more question.
Yes, sir.
Just because I've been a part of this, and I get these calls every day. Speed and speed bumps.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm tired of my car feeling like a roller coaster on Cedar Point too.
Yeah.
But working for an elected official and knowing that there's been children hit on some of these streets, I think they are needed. But as you being a mayoral candidate,
Right.
how do you feel? And if you don't like them, what is the remedy?
So part of what we need to understand is we have to embrace the car culture in the city of Detroit. The city of Detroit is based on car culture. People driving either the big caddies from the old days,
Right.
super fast cars, GTO. That's what Detroit is. And so when you don't have a dedicated facility to allow for expressions of this type of
That's it.
behavior, then what you end up with is people blocking off Grand River Greenfield doing donuts and having shows. And so I'm saying, okay, given all the vacant land or industrial land that we have in the
That's
city of Detroit, why are we not trying to develop a Detroit International Speedway? Sort of a multi-purpose facility where you can have a training ground for young people who want to learn
it.
engineering
This
and
is
things
it.
of that nature. Where you can have a restaurant and things so that people can look down on folks doing donuts in a safe environment. Where you can actually have a drag strip where people can race fast. Now, if I create a facility like that, and I catch your ass speeding on the city of Detroit, I gotta take your car.
Thank
But see,
you.
I'm giving you the option. I'm
Opportunity.
giving you the
Opportunity.
opportunity. So
Space.
we not thinking about this
That's
stuff right. We're
it.
saying we gotta punish it. We
No.
putting 14, 18,000 speed bumps in our city, killing your shocks every day.
Yep.
You're riding up and down, humpity hump. And most people in the city of Detroit, you know, their car just barely holding on anyway. Let's just keep it real.
Right there.
They
Right
just
there.
so I'm just saying that we got to create a facility that we can do this. There also has to be high levels of enforcement, and we're not trying to over police, because I don't believe in over police.
Right,
I think we actually over police. But people need to understand, if we got a facility on the east side or the west side where you can do this, and we catch you out, your car gone. So we're gonna start forfeiting vehicles. But then you got to be careful, because I don't like you and I see you driving a nice car. And we gotta have the appropriate safeguards in place. But at the end of the day, let's rethink and create something positive from this experience. So if you got a multi-purpose facility where you got people with restaurants, engineering facilities, you can teach young people the right way to do things. I think we can make this a win-win situation for ourselves. There's one other thing that I like to talk about. I know I'm going to take command of the program. Entrepreneurship in the city of Detroit. We see it oftentimes. We ride, and because I'm riding through the city all the day, so I see people selling clothing, on the lots. I see people grilling everywhere. They grilling everywhere. I see people now. They got the fryers out. They doing the whole thing. And I'm saying, man, these people really trying to do something with themselves and trying to do something positive, because doing that keeps them from doing something else.
Absolutely.
And so we have again these commercial buildings and structures. Why are we not saying, look, I'm gonna give you the opportunity to have your own in-store facility? We got to be making creative use of these things. These people, they have enough energy and drive to get up in the morning, to pull the grill from one side to get their favorite location. Everybody got their favorite location. We have to do things differently. We have to talk about them, because we're trying to figure out how we make the city got to work for everybody. And right now, it's not working for everybody. It's not working for the brothers or the sisters that got the barbershops and beauty salons, because they're paying high fees, being overtaxed, overregulated. We got to reduce that. We got to encourage how we can make these businesses grow, because that's our future. I told a guy the other day, he said, well, what's your policy about attracting new business? I said, quite frankly, I could care less if we never attracted another business in the city of Detroit, because we got enough work in our city for fixing people's roofs, fixing people's gutters, fixing people's sidewalks, replacing their furnaces, putting in windows. There's so much little work we can do, maintaining our infrastructure, cutting the grass in our park. We don't really need another business. I said, and by the way, business attraction policy don't have shit to do with Detroit. It's got more to do with the state of Michigan, which is why the state of Michigan was not even on the list for the $11 billion investment from Ford Motor Company in electric vehicles, which is the future of the city, a future of the country. We didn't even make the list. So don't tell me it ain't a Detroit problem. That's a state of Michigan problem. I'm concerned about how we can make these businesses here in our city grow. If we got 35,000 businesses in the city of Detroit, and they each employ 3 people, that's 100-some thousand jobs created right there by the stroke of a pen, by changing your policy. So I'm about business growth and development, and I'm unapologetically about black business. Guy said that's racist. I said it's not.
It's not.
I'm talking when
I'm
you
a
look,
black business owner newly, so I'm trying to figure out where do I fit into this scheme of things to grow my business. Right? I have 7 employees. Thank you guys. I love you, IPS care team. And I'm trying to figure out how do I incorporate that into the city of Detroit, because they take you through so much. Like I'm like, I have everything y'all asked for. So what's next?
Because
how do you bring money and resources to me to fund and keep workers coming in? I got applications coming in every day for jobs. And I'm like, how do I fit into this? How do I make this happen for these people? Because I want to see people working.
We cannot be in an antagonistic relationship with people who are doing business in the city of Detroit. And it's very antagonistic for people who want to create a business. Or, for example, you get a tax bill from the city of Detroit from like 10 years ago. I'm like, man, who keeps tax records? Y'all sending me bills out for stuff that... At some point, that stuff got... So we have to not be antagonistic. We have to streamline processes so that once people get in the system, that it operates organically. You shouldn't have to constantly call and check back and forth. It should be done. You present the paperwork, everything is fine and checked. You need to be off on your way. Because you're taking away from your creative energy to run your business when you're trying to manage a process with the city, when we shouldn't be in your business no way. If you got the right licensing and application, you've done what you're supposed to do, I'm wishing you well and hoping that you grow. And if there's an opportunity to create a program that will allow you to grow your business because you're providing the services that we need, then we got to go for that.
That part.
I love that. I love that part.
So
Let's get a shout out to our Facebook guests. We got Megan Douglas. Hey, I want to give a shout out. And then we got Miss Hazel Flood. Hey, good evening, everyone. All right, hold on. I think you did the shout out to. I got Sky High, Miss Johnson. Hey, shout out. Thank you for tuning in. Miss Janice Williams. Appreciate you guys. They tuning in. They loving the conversation. Talking about you know his stuff. Come on, say that.
That's right.
I gotta ask
We
you
must force
because
this debate opponent on
Yes,
this right
yes,
now.
yes.
So, and we got D Jackson. I'm sorry, go
That's
ahead. I had to
right.
give my shout out
Go
to my
ahead.
P.
Go ahead.
Thank you for tuning in.
that D
We love
Jackson's comment is actually one of the questions I want to hit on.
y'all. Okay, go ahead.
$600 million.
Yes.
Oh, that was my question.
Our question.
The question.
I personally don't know where the hell it's going to come from.
Right.
But I ain't running for mayor. I'm running for something, but I'll let y'all know November 5th.
Right. Uh-oh.
And I'll announce mine November 8th.
Uh-oh.
I'm taking your thunder.
I was just about to say.
We are.
Anyway. So, shut up, y'all.
Yeah.
What actual plan
Yes.
do you have
The people,
remedy that?
The people need to get their money back. Let me just start there. Every time they need to find money to do something else. So when they wanted to do the Chrysler expansion project, they found like $125 million overnight. Every project they want to do, they find the money. And I'm saying this the people's money they got lost, it got taken from them. And a lot of people actually paid taxes that they didn't even have to pay because they qualified for programs.
There we go.
So we got different pots that we have to deal with. The first pot, obviously, is that the people who still in their houses, we got to make sure that their assessments are corrected first and foremost, because
Absolutely.
people are still being overassessed in the city of Detroit. They try to say that it isn't, but they are. I'm telling you, people need to check your tax bill when it comes in because you're being overassessed and you need to use a process to reduce your assessment. So we got to equalize assessment so that people pay their fair share. Once we determine what your correct tax bill should be, if you still own your house, then you get a credit on your taxes. I can't necessarily cut you a check because to cut a $600 million check, we don't have that kind of money laying around. But
Ladies and gentlemen, I've been trying to tell y'all for the longest. Detroit ain't got it, but go ahead.
But this was a plan that was developed by a lot of people, Detroit People's Platform. People talked about this a lot because we're not trying. Because the first thing they always say is that you're being fiscally irresponsible. You're going to bankrupt the city. It's like you all bankrupted the city when you took revenue sharing from the city of Detroit. You stripped away the ability of the city to protect itself on so many different levels that people really don't understand how they manipulated us into bankruptcy, which was a fraud and a farce. But I know I deviated. So there's a plan that you set up that the people who still own their houses, they have to get tax abatements and credits in order to reduce, because they may end up not paying taxes for 3 or 4 years. And I've actually toyed with the idea of actually eliminating property taxes in the city of Detroit. When you look at the budget impact and the toll of what has occurred as a result of tax policies in the city of Detroit, I said 150,000 people lost their houses as a result of tax foreclosures. Many times they were paying taxes they should not have paid. We also have another 40,000 people on the list that are eligible for tax foreclosure in 2022. No one's talking about that but me, because I'm saying you need to check your mama, your grandmama, your auntie, your uncle tax bill to make sure that your house isn't on that list. Because that's another wave of people losing their home, losing their equity. For those people that have actually lost their houses, then we have to make them whole with the house. We got 80,000 structures floating around here. Why can't we not allocate our affordable housing dollars? Because this is a wrong that was committed on the people who live in the city. We're so quick to compensate other people for their losses. We need to be quick about compensating ourselves, and we can do it.
That's the American way. Give everybody else money and don't take care of your own. But that's a whole other conversation.
Right. So I'm just saying that there are programs that are designed that can deal with the issue of overtaxation and overassessment of $600 million. People need to get their money back. Because if I overpay some kind of way, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
Now, I'm glad you included those that actually don't have homes, right?
Yeah.
So those are the individuals that really kind of get off the grid and don't have a conversation for. Now, just to clarify, you said not paying property taxes. So my question would be, because Wayne County makes its money off of property taxes, what is your solution to sustain the county?
So I'm not concerned about the county. That's kind of cold, but that's the reality, because they're making money off of our misery.
All right.
When people lose their house as a result of tax foreclosure, they collect money that's not helping the city gets paid for the taxes that are collected, which is why the city sends them to tax foreclosure.
Say that one more time for the people to hear it.
The county makes money when the city sends to the county their property taxes to be sold.
November 5th.
I said, as a result of my executive power as the mayor, I will sign an executive order on day one which prohibits the transfer of any single-family residential housing property for tax foreclosure. It needs to be taken off of that list because we've lost too many people have lost their homes. We've created a situation where 47,000 people are renting. We have 47% of the people actually own their homes. 47%.
And we used to be 60% by 217, y'all.
And you're talking about in the 80s we were at 75, almost 80%.
Yep.
People own their homes. They had equity.
Yep.
And so when you talk about building wealth in America, if you don't have your own business, the only other way to build equity, you can work hard and save, is to own your home. And so home ownership is big on my agenda. I talk about that. I'm actually having a program tomorrow at my campaign office, which is going to show people how we can actually get you into a house. How do we transition you from being a renter? There are responsibilities associated with that. You can't call somebody to come fix the toilet. You got to call the repairman to fix it yourself.
There you go. So give us more about that location because we got 4 more minutes.
Okay.
Damn.
Oh, wow.
And listen, I want you to hold your card.
Oh,
I
yes,
bought it.
yes.
All right, I'll do it this
put the
way.
promo on and let us know about the event they can show up tomorrow.
Tomorrow is how do you get yourself into home ownership. It's going to take place at 19512 Livernois. It'll be from 2 to 5. We have some dynamic people that we've connected with, black real estate professionals in Detroit who are putting people in homes. They're not getting the accolades that they should be getting for what they're doing, but I'm going to highlight them and bring them to my program tomorrow so that people can understand we can actually get you in a house. I talked to a lady today, it was so amazing. She lived over a 7 mile over there by what was the school? It was Krantz Park. It was just north of Sojourner Truth Homes. She says I'm paying $1,500 a month for rent. I said $1,500 a month. I said, but you could be paying a house. You might have a $700, $800, and you might have some money set aside to escrow for repairs and things. But that program is going to be from 2 to 5. If you go to my website, you'll see that I am a big proponent of home ownership. I believe that is one of our keys to success in building and regaining the wealth that we've lost as a result of tax foreclosures.
Well, thank you for that. Well, ladies and gentlemen,
let me say that the date on here says August 3rd, but we know this was just a
yes,
but we know November,
right?
Yes, you can vote any day because
yes.
the satellite locations are still open.
Right.
And thank you very much, you guys, for tuning in. I'm gonna pass over to Henrietta because she can get ready to close us out.
First of all, thank you, Anthony Adams,
Yes.
Memorial. I can't get it out, y'all. But he's our mayor candidate for 2021 November. We get out and vote November 2nd.
November 2nd.
November 2nd. Make
But
that
early
happen,
voting actually starts October the 12th, so you can go down to the clerk's office.
And you heard
Absentee ballots are a different thing.
Yeah.
Early voting at the poll.
Satellite locations
Exactly.
are getting ready
That's
to
it.
open.
Right.
Yes, and so we have, which has been an amazing night tonight. Anthony came here, he broke it down for us, and we say again, we thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, my brother, for coming on and letting the people know we have a real champion running in this race.
Come on.
I hope you guys get out there and vote in November. Let's make Detroit whole again. Get out and vote for somebody who has your interests at heart. Just to kick in, more than 7,000 Michigan driver's licenses have been eligible again. So if you want to know about how you are eligible to receive this information, you can go to contact your legal help at michiganlegalhelp.org, or you can contact 313-967-5800 to find out if you're eligible to have your license restored to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, she should have put all that in the box earlier. I don't know why she waited to the last minute to do that. That's a bunch of bullshit.
I got into this conversation.
Because y'all already need this information, and she gonna come with this at the last minute. But this is what Henrietta does to me. I'm sick of it. I'm real sick of it.
Don't listen to him. It's not true.
All right. Oh, is that somewhere you're going to be tomorrow? You need
Yes,
something to
tomorrow
know
I will be at Wayne County Community College. I'm driving 6 miles. Tomorrow's Roy McAllister Jr.'s mental health task force workshop.
Yes.
So please, that's from 9 to 2. Come out. Yeah,
All right.
again, mental health. We all got somebody that knows something. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another Friday. Y'all see what it is.
All right.
All
Thank
right,
you guys
thank
for
you.
tuning in. It's the quarantine. We just appreciate you tuning in with us. You could have been anywhere else, but you joined us this evening. So thank you, and we hope to see you next Friday. Good night.